Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Western Oklahoma Sports Night. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, here with you, powered by Lawdog Sports. A hot August night here in Western Oklahoma. Temps in the 100s well into the evening, but that doesn't stop the mainstay staple of sports in the fall in Oklahoma and the surrounding area, and that is football. And we are getting our football previews underway. Tonight, we are pleased to have Weatherford head coach Taylor Sossamon with us, visiting with the show for a second time. We had him on back in I think it was spring, or it might have been early summer. It's hard for me to remember that far back, but after we knew you were going to take the head coaching job, I think I got you on the program as quick as possible. Coach, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Good. Well, thanks for taking your time to come on here. I know it's really becoming the busy time for you, and it's your first head coaching gig and your first year as the Weatherford head coach, and it's just a ton of stuff going on in the community, much less from Pee-wee levels to high school, and SWASU's getting started. I mean, football really is kind of getting a groundswell going in Dubtown right now.
Yes, it is. It's that time of year.
Well, and so you guys are coming out of Iron Eagle. I know I checked in with you last week. The guys are in there working really hard and pumping the iron. So what's your take on what you've seen out of your team in the off season?
Yeah, I think we had a good summer. Over 80% attendance by all football players as a whole. So several 100% guys. So I was very pleased with their attendance and work ethic this summer.
Yeah, and looked like I said the one time I checked in, and I'd come out for a 7-on-7 that you guys had, and then also checking in with you and the guys going through their workouts. I mean, you've got some guys that really know how to get in the weight room and get after it, from what I saw.
Yeah, offering it during the school year, in the school day, they've a lot of those guys have had a lot of time in there and a lot of time to develop and grow.
What's it been like having I mean, you've been with this team for a long time. You came here with Coach Reagan Roof, and I think did we say it's been 7 years ago that you guys made the trek out here?
Yes, this will be year 8 for me out here.
Yeah. So you're a mainstay, you're a staple. But what was it like this summer going through all of that as the head coach?
Well, yeah, I've kind of run that program for the last 7 years, so the summer stuff wasn't that different. Spring ball and some of the stuff that goes into the planning and preparation for the fall, that's been a little more of a change, but I think it's gone good so far.
Well, and I think so too. And so you kept your coaching staff intact, other than the head coach who's at Kingfisher now. But talk about you'll be the defensive coordinator, I'm sure, like you have been. Is Coach Renshaw going to be your offensive coordinator?
He is, yes.
Talk about him and oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is around year 30 for him. He's been a head coach for probably half of that and called an offense, for even more than that. So it's not somebody that's new to that type of role. It's something that he's done a bunch of in the past, and he's got a certain strategy and a certain identity to his offense that I'm excited about.
Yeah, and without revealing too much, because I know I always ask coaches questions that they just don't really want to answer as far as going into the season. But I mean, will there be noticeable differences at times from because I'm assuming Coach Roof had an input on the offense as well.
Yeah, Coach Roof has called the offense every year that I've ever coached with him. So, yeah, I think you'll see some distinct changes. I won't get too much into it, but Coach Roof and Coach Renshaw, they've worked together a bunch, but they're also distinctly different people. So I think you'll see Coach Renshaw's spin on it, and I'm excited about it.
Well, and I know that there is reason to be excited, and part of that is just doing my previews and preseason work. Is uh, there's pretty high expectations on this Weatherford program once again. Last season it was, I think, in the top 6 or 7. This year, I think Pigskin Preview and Vipe has you guys at ninth, finishing third in the district is their prediction. But there's so much returning talent on this squad. I would think that that could prove to possibly be, and I know you're not going to get into rankings and predictions, but to me, just on the outside looking in, it looks like with a lot of experience and a lot of talent coming back, you guys could really have a successful season.
Sure. Yeah, the rankings and stuff. I mean, we have no control over that. We just talk to the guys about controlling what we can control, and I will say I'm excited about the guys that we have.
Yeah, and just starting on the lines, both offensive and defense. I mean, a senior like Cutler Rollins coming in has got to be a stabilizing presence on both lines of scrimmage.
Yeah, no doubt. 4-year starter, great kid, great worker, developing into a leader. I'm excited about him.
Some other pieces there as well with some starts. I know Braden Huff, I believe, is he coming back or yeah,
Yeah.
and Rylan Wrecker as well as the Raji brothers. I mean, you've got some people on the line of scrimmage that can really get out there and get after it.
Yeah, we do. I feel really good about. I mean, several guys, up front. That's a position we don't have a ton of depth at. I mean, there's what I mean by that is there's not just a ton of bodies out there
Yep.
that are offensive linemen, but the guys that we do have, I feel really good about.
Good deal. And then really as far as other areas of the team, I mean, you've got a lot of returning experience in the linebacker core. That's got, as a defensive coordinator, that's got to make you sleep a little bit better at night.
Yeah, that's another position that we have. Really, that's probably the position on the team we have the most depth at. There's at least two guys at every position that I think are capable of getting snaps on a Friday night.
Yeah. And then just finishing up there, the secondary. I mean, Austin Shields was really a valuable cornerback in that defense you had last season. I think he, really had a great season, but it's, I'm sure you've got guys that are ready to step up and fill in and make their mark on that secondary spot.
Yeah, I mean, we have a bunch of guys competing for those positions that I had quite a few snaps last season, so it's a little bit unproven and experienced, but there's some guys there that we feel good about too.
Well, and I would be remiss to not mention the defensive line and one particular edge rusher that you have that's gained a lot of notoriety over the last couple of years. And, obviously an OU football commit is CJ Nixon entering into his senior year. Talk about the impact he's made on this program.
Well, CJ's obviously a special talent. He's a guy that I've joked with him for years, that he's a part timer in the football, but I think that he's kind of realized that that's what his future is, and really his commitment and his work this summer has shown that that's kind of what he's realized. So I'm excited. I think he's. I don't want to say he wasn't invested in the past, but I think he's more invested now than he ever has been. So I think that's going to pay off big time for him.
Yeah, and I would think knowing that you're going to a premier program like Oklahoma and also entering into the SEC, it's probably and plus young men, they can change from year to year in high school, and I would imagine, not to speak for him, but I would think that a lot of things are starting to kind of form in his viewpoint now and realize, let's get out and get it.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. So offensively, last season, a lot of big plays. You suffer a quarterback injury, but you guys came through and really gave a tough Tuttle team a run on their home field in the first round of the playoffs. Talk about what it is offensively this year that you want to see.
Well, I'd like to see us, run the ball a little bit better from the get go, be able to sustain drives and move the chains, third down conversions. and really the number one factor that I looked at when I evaluated the program offensively was the turnover margin. We turned it over too many times and didn't force enough. I think we were minus 17 as a team on the season, which it's a miracle that we even had a winning record, being minus 17. So that's a huge point of emphasis for us on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and some big stretch targets as well as Nick Jett enters into his senior season, Cy Scamahorn and CJ. Which I'll be honest with you, Coach. I mean, I understand edge rushers are, the physical ability or the physical markings that players have that play the edge is one thing, but if I'm a collegiate coach and I see CJ's tape on the offensive side, I might would line him up as a hybrid in the college ranks. I mean, just man, 6'6", 230 with speed, that's hard to compensate, much less on a high school field.
Yeah, there were several schools that I think were looking at him on that side of the ball. So you're not alone in that thinking. But yeah, several guys on the offensive side that can make plays at wide receiver.
Okay, so obviously you've got some returning experience at quarterback. You'll have the fall camp to get to decide what decisions will be made on that. I'm not going to put you on the spot like that. That's not my place. But obviously, two players with experience coming back in Stone Chisholm and Tyson McSpirit, and little different play types. But obviously, whoever is back there, they have to be protected.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep. You got to give them time.
Okay. So Class 4A, District 1, a little different dynamic this season. Elgin drops down from 5A after only losing one game, and that was in the 5A quarterfinals, I believe, to the eventual state champion Carl Albert Titans, if I remember right. Or did they lose to another team? I can't remember.
They lost Claremore, I believe.
Was it an Eastern team? Okay. But so Elgin was just chock full of talent last season. We had our struggles with them in the game we played on our homecoming. A lot of those players that were there for them last season are out on the hilltop at SWASU now, but they still have a load of talent. And then also just our regular cast of characters with Clinton and Elk City in our district. Talk about playing in this District 1 this season.
Yeah, tough district. It's kind of funny how it worked out. They had the district set, and then that private school lawsuit against the association, we had to go back, this spring and redistrict everything. So when they did that, they went off of a different ADM, and it actually brought Elgin back down into 4A1, which traditionally they have been. So it's not anything, drastic. But then we were kind of scrambling for a game. We only had 9 once Elgin moved out of our non-district, and a bunch of other teams' districts were set. So we ended up picking up Pauls Valley. We'll go there week 3, and so that's how it kind of worked out.
And that'll be a good test going into districts, which I believe, if I'm correct, that's the game before the Custer County conflict. So, it'll be a tough test going in to start district play. Is it typical that the Clinton game would be this early? Is this pretty abnormal for it to be as early as it is this season?
No, you never have control over when a district game falls.
Okay.
It's all the luck of the draw.
I just assumed it was like second weekend of October, like OU Texas,
It has been the past couple of years, so that's but back in 2018-19, I believe it was the first district game also. So
yeah, mentally, your team, like I said, a lot of seniors, and talk about what this class has meant to the program coming up, and being part of a part of Weatherford football tradition, and then also what kind of expectations they've put on themselves or anything like that as far as this year's class.
Yeah, it's obviously a talented class. We've known about them, even since they were kind of in the peewees. I feel like it's a class that's done a lot of good things, but I would say we and they probably as a whole feel like it hasn't necessarily lived up to the expectations yet. So that's kind of been something we've talked about quite a bit this spring and this summer is, finding ways to to finish this thing out strong for them.
Yeah, and football's a game of determination and being hard nosed. So I would think, just talking to the young men like I do, that they are probably ready to get out and lay a hat on some people.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, you hope so. We're visiting with Weatherford Eagles head football coach Taylor Sossamon, and the Eagles kick off their season against former head coach Reagan Roof on September 6th at 7 p.m. in Kingfisher. So, Coach, talk about squaring off against. Do you consider Coach Roof a mentor? I mean, you basically coached under him your whole time, right?
Yeah, no, I've learned a ton from him. I think he's incredibly smart. I think he's very organized. He's going to have a sound team that's going to play hard. So it's a very good test right out of the gate against somebody that knows, you and what your plan typically is. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be, and we'll be on the call on 100.3 FM Coyote Classic and Weatherford Eagles TV at right.media. But it was kind of a sudden change for him, and it kind of came up, and then I think, in my personal opinion, the Weatherford administration, did the correct thing, and the good move was to go ahead and promote you. I think everybody within the program and observing the program realized that you were ready.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it was a matter of time until I was a head coach, and I had kind of been looking the past couple of years for the right opportunity, but um, what better opportunity than the program that you already know?
Yeah, and you were just an integral piece of the defensive performance throughout the seasons, and a lot of great players that you've coached and things like that. So obviously, to me, I still say defense wins championships. I don't care what they say about offensive offensive teams. Yeah, you got to score, but defense to me still wins championships. But I think this year Weatherford has a great opportunity to go out there and really play some sound defense. Is that something that you are looking at and saying, obviously all phases of the game are crucial, but there are teams that can kind of hang their hat on the defense.
Well, I completely agree. I mean, one of our calling cards that we say is if they don't score, they don't win. So um, I obviously we haven't arrived. Like we need to play better defense, especially in big games. So and we've done that at various times in the past. So I know we're capable of it, but we need to be more consistent on that side of the ball as well.
Sure. And I guess as we start to wrap things up, Coach, here with you, just going into the season, I know last year the slogan was "Don't matter, get better." Is that something that's kind of carried on through into this off season?
Yeah, that's kind of been the weight room slogan, for the last few years. So um, I don't think it, necessarily is any one sports slogan, but it's just kind of something that we say when they're in there.
Yeah. Are there any names, any faces that you think will be a surprise or kind of make an impact at this season? To that maybe fans and people have not seen before. Anybody kind of look like they're really making some strides?
Yeah, there's a couple of names I'll give you. I don't want to put too much pressure on them because
Sure.
whatever happens happens. But I was incredibly impressed in the spring with Lucas Bird playing kind of that jack linebacker where he's a defensive end sometimes and a stack linebacker sometimes. Um, the same thing with Luke Bruner. He's played quite a bit of outside linebacker safety hybrid guy for us in the spring and in the summer, and I think he's done a good job.
Yeah, I have not seen Lucas Bird, but I know from watching Luke Bruner on the basketball court. I mean, he's got a good amount of athleticism, and transitioning that to football, I can see how that would be beneficial. So, so Lucas Bird at a linebacker spot and Luke Bruner in the secondary. Did you say?
Yeah, and they may not be,
Yeah,
right off the gate every down players, but they're guys that I think have grown a lot this spring and summer.
good deal. How has your summer been?
It's been busy, but it's been good. We got a little downtime there.
Now you've got a pretty busy schedule with your family as well. So talk about how you balance the demands of being a head coach of a 4A football program with also being a husband and father.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a tough deal, and but I also think it's rewarding, and I think it's good for your kids to be around the program. And so I try to get them up there as much as I can. Last night I took both of them to the booster club meeting with me while my wife was doing, meet the teacher. So it is a balancing act, but I try my best when I come home to unplug and until they go to bed, and then I can watch some film and do whatever I need to do.
Sure. Are they clamoring for the Law Dog to make an appearance at the Booster Club meetings? Because if so, I can show up on demand.
I would say be careful what you do,
Oh,
because if you do that, you may end up working in the concession stand. So
well, that's true. I guess I could call it
really where they need the
there.
most help, I think.
We could put a monitor in the above the popcorn machine. How about that? So, no. And last question, Coach. Talk about the support from the community and how you felt that, and has it been any any different feeling now that you've taken the head coaching position?
Oh, sure. No, I think the majority of our community is incredibly supportive. You go watch the state basketball tournament and you look at all the people in the stands. I remember Coach Noel was even talking about that today in our all coaches meeting in 2019. We're playing in the state finals in football, and you look up and our side was packed. And so um, it's incredible. I think that Weatherford football means a lot to a lot of people, and so I think this is first class community that deserves a first class program. So that's really the goal, is to give them a program that they can be proud of.
Good deal. Well, listen, Coach, we'll be cheering you on, and I'll be up in the stands calling all the plays. And man, it can't get here quick enough. I know there's anticipation, and in the past last season we had a week 0 game, but this year we'll start on week 1, like all schools should. But anyways, it'll be a lot of fun, and I know your guys will get out there and really work hard and be an example and be a reflection of their coach. So we're looking forward to it in a big way.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for your visit, Coach. He's head coach Taylor Sossamon of the Weatherford Eagle football team, and he begins his inaugural season as a head coach here in Dubtown, and we appreciate him taking time to visit with us. Be sure and go to lawdogsports.com. Check out our website. You'll have links to our SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple podcast pages, as well as our YouTube page where we post our videos. You can also message us on the website and leave a message. Be sure and follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok. We want to thank head coach Taylor Sossamon for visiting with us tonight. This has been Western Oklahoma Sports Night. Be sure and stay tuned for more visits with other coaches, particularly football, in Western Oklahoma. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you real soon.